Start. Let's go ahead and start our PowerPoint presentation. Good morning. It is with great pleasure to be with you all here today for our first Four Winds Diversified Project webinar. Before I get into our presentation, there is a couple of webinar housekeeping initiatives that I would like to talk about. We will have a question and answer section at the end of the webinar. So at the bottom of the Zoom webinar platform, there is a question and answer dialog box. You can use this question and answer dialog box to ask questions throughout the whole presentation. And at the end of the webinar, we will be able to read and answer each question presented to our team. Your feedback is very important to us, so please fill out the end of the webinar survey. And thank you all for your participation. Again, it is with great honor and with great pleasure to be with you all here today to present our first Four Winds Diversified Project webinar, focused around the importance of developing a powerful capability statement for government contractors. I would like to start with acknowledging all the participants we have present with us today. We have individuals and organizations from New Mexico, Colorado, Arizona, Texas, the Navajo Nation, California, Oregon, Georgia, Michigan, and Boston, Massachusetts. So welcome all. We are very happy to be here with you today. I also know that we have representatives from our MBDA Business Center out of the San Antonio office. Welcome. Hello to Mr. Orestes Hubbard. Our team here at the Four Winds Diversified Project would love to do a future webinar with you around import and exports. And we understand that this is some of the specialties you guys offer in your service area. I also wanted to acknowledge the two New Mexico companies, marketing firms that we have on our panelists today, Ms. Kim Baca of KB Consultants, as well as Mr. John Schroeder from Real Time Solutions. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to share your experience and knowledge with our participants. With that, I would like to introduce our Four Winds Diversified Project. My company, Data Management of New Mexico, recently teamed up with Mr. Mike Peacock and Southwest Business Development Consultants, and we were funded by the U.S. Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency to execute this innovative project called the Four Winds Diversified Project. Our service area covers the whole nation with the focus on our tribes and small business owners in the Southwest, so which include Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, and Utah. But again, our doors are open nationwide for community and economic and small business development services. Our three major goals and missions of the Four Winds Diversified Project are to provide you all with federal contracting strategies, training and coaching, assessments and certification for services and set-aside programs such as the SBA 8A certification program, Hub Zone, Women-Owned, Service-Disabled-Owned, and Buy Indian Act initiatives, as well as for those companies interested in working with the Navajo Nation. We also help with Navajo Certification 1 and Certification 2 registrations. We are also here to provide quarterly small business training, one-on-one meetings, and consultant services. Another third option and third goal of ours is to provide all of you with access to opportunities, access to capital in the forms of small business lines of credit, small business loans such as the SBA's PPP loan program, as well as bonding and insurance. We also would like to provide you with resources and referrals. Our team here in New Mexico has built a powerful network of over 85 research partners in the state, as well as the Southwest and nation. And the beautiful thing about all of our services is that there is no cost to you as a client. Some of the main missions for all of our Four Winds Diversified Project webinars are to get you as a contractor prepared to bid, market, and meet with procurement officers, as well as prepare you and your company for future government contracting vehicles, such as the SBA 8A certification program, Women-Owned and Service-Disabled program, as well as HUBs program. With that, I would like to move forward to our team introductions. First and foremost is Mr. Michael D. Peacock, CEO and President of Southwest Business Development Consultants and Project Operator for the Four Winds Diversified Project. Mr. Mike Peacock, the virtual floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody today participating in this great webinar that we are hosting on behalf of the Southwest Business Development Consultants, LLC, and the Four Winds Diversified Project. I see we have a lot of presence here from all over the nation, and just like to give you an overview of my company. I own actually two companies. I own Southwest Business Development Consultants, LLC. I've been in business now for 21 years. I've been consulting now for about 29 years. I've been associated with the Minority Business Development Agency for about 25 years. 10 of those years were as a project director for the New Mexico Native American Business Development Center. And the rest of the 11 years, I was associated with the American Indian Chamber of Commerce of New Mexico, who operated the center until a few years ago. We're very happy today to be able to provide you our services. As Russell said, we focus on American Indian, Alaska Native, Native Hawaiian, and all minorities throughout the Southwest and across the country. I've assembled a great team here today, and we're more than happy to provide you our great presentation here on developing a powerful capability statement. Capability statement, in my opinion, is the first impression of your business. It's your resume. It takes a snapshot of exactly what your capabilities are, all your company information, your past performance, and it gives the customer really a snapshot of what your capabilities are and how diversified you are as a business. So again, I'd like to thank everybody for being here today, and I'll go ahead and let the show move on, and thank you very much, Russ, for the introduction.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Mr. Peacock. Well, I would now like to turn the virtual floor over to Ms. Darla M. Jones, who currently is our project manager and program manager for Southwest Business Development Consultants, as well as program manager for the Four Winds Diversified Project. Ms. Jones?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Darla Jones. I'm also the program manager and point of contact. As Mike mentioned, not only can we assist you with your capability statement, we also provide a wide range of business services. Visit swbdc.com, shoot me an email, give me a call. My contact will be at the end of the presentation. Thank you, Real Time Solutions and KB Consulting, for sharing your expertise and experiences with us today. And thank you to the participants. Some of you may not have a capability statement. Some of you may be revising, beefing it up, ready to take it to the next level. You want a strong, concise capability statement that will satisfy a contractor's specific needs. It will also reduce the risk factors of the contractor's decision making. So I urge you today to utilize this webinar as a catalyst to welcome your opportunities and challenges, confident and prepared. Again, thank you everybody, and thank you, Russ.
Right on. Thank you, Ms. Jones. Thank you, Ms. Jones. Lastly is yours truly. Again, my name is Russell Pedro. I'm originally from the Pueblo of Laguna, village of Paraji, one of 19 Pueblo tribes located here in New Mexico. I am currently the president and CEO of Data Management of New Mexico and Senior Business Certification and Training Specialist for the Four Winds Diversify Project. I have been very fortunate enough to work with over 200 plus clientele, tribal organizations, and small business owners over the past 17 years through past affiliations with the American Indian Chamber of Commerce in New Mexico, the MBDA Minority Business Development Center Network, as well as the American Indian Alaska Native Tourism Association. During that time, our team here in New Mexico has been able to develop and execute and present over 10 Native American and minority-owned economic summits, where we had over 24 breakout sessions, a one-on-one meet and greet, as well as over 85 trade fair participants. We also were successful in establishing and conducting 5 meet and greets with our local national laboratories to include Sandia National Laboratories and Los Alamos National Laboratories, as well as team up with Mr. Adolfo Vasquez with the Procurement Technical Assistance Center to host 3 one-on-one meet and greets with over 30 government and federal buyers here in New Mexico. And I know at one point in time, once this epidemic does blow over, we are planning to host another one-on-one meet and greet with government procurement buyers. We will love to invite all of you here to New Mexico or the southern part of Colorado, where we plan to host this event. We were also instrumental in providing 2 youth empowerment symposiums, all focused around helping our small business community, tribal communities, as well as preparing our youth for their future. My personal motto is access to capital plus access to opportunities equals job creation and community and economic development. So capability statements, statement of qualification, line cards, what are they? You know, I have been, as mentioned before, very honored to work with several small business, women-owned, service-disabled-owned, and veterans in helping them and assisting them within the government SBA 8A certification and hub zone process. To the left, I have a beautiful example of a statement of qualifications provided by CF Padilla. They are a 100% Native American owned and operated firm based out of Isleta, Pueblo, New Mexico. I would say about 3 years ago, I had started their SBA 8A certification. This process takes an average of anywhere between 7 months to 2.5 years, depending on the complexity of your organization and how it is set up. Currently, I am now working with Mr. Clayton Padilla and his team in helping him achieve the SBA's Hub Zone certification, as well as providing opportunities for their organization. Next, we have Chemo Constructors Incorporated. This company is based out of Bosque Farms, New Mexico, located about 30 miles south of Albuquerque. Our team here at Four Winds Diversify Project was very instrumental in helping and assisting his team obtain funding through the SBA's PPP program. And here in New Mexico, it takes an average of 3 to 3.5 weeks from submission of all the corporate documentations to the bank to finalization and seeing monies in banks accounts. Right now, we are currently providing business opportunities to Chemo. And I just wanted to showcase a couple of examples that we helped create it here at the Four Winds Diversify Project. So what's the purpose of a capability statement, a SOQ or line card? One word, competition. As you all know, the federal government procurement arena is a highly competitive marketplace, not only at the federal level, the state level, but also the tribal level. Companies as small as 1 or 2 companies such as mine, as well as larger companies with hundreds to thousands of employees on the monthly, daily, weekly are submitting their proposals to the federal government. So we need to think of the capability statement as our first impression that we need to make on paper. What sets us apart from our competitors? What core competencies, past performances, or special certifications do our companies possess that differ from other organizations? And what type of information should be included that procurement specialists are looking for? The capability statement is required in many government registration processes. Like I mentioned, the SBA 8A and HubZone require that companies do submit this statement of qualifications. It also serves as a door opener to new agencies at meet and greets, one-on-one procurement fairs, as well as conferences, summits, and seminars. The SOQ promotes your company's core competencies and showcases your past performance. They also list your NAICS codes, product service codes, standard industrial classification codes, and special certifications, things that set you apart from your competitors. Not too long ago, no one knew what a capability statement was, but now it is a critical tool to help you to be as successful as possible, no matter the size of your company. The statement of qualifications format. Your statement should be brief, concise, to the point, and specifically related to each government agency's individual needs. It should be brief and only 1 to 2 pages in total. Like a business plan, your statement of qualification is a living, breathing document because it'll change depending on the targeted agency. So we need to make sure and understand that each agency has their own mission and focus, and do our due diligence and research on each of these agencies that we plan to target. This also holds true for going after grants and contracts. Each contract and grant are different, and we need to make sure that our capability statement from our website and brochures are all completely aligned. It is important that your capability statement be visually interesting and use graphics similar to your company's brand and logo. For SOQs, I'd like to recommend that clients share a copy or photo of their work, so to showcase to potential clients and buyers your products and services. Your capability statement must also be downloaded and saved as a PDF file. Not to say that you can create your SOQ or capability statement in Word or Publisher or any other file. We just need to make sure that it is saved as an Adobe Acrobat or PDF file. And you can use your scanner, your printer to do this type of conversion, or use the free Adobe Acrobat software. Next, I would like to talk about the SOQ contents, starting with the contact information, corporate data.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good.
Or
As soon as the wave opens up, I will send you to the chat.
Okay.
Hello, hello. Can we please put you on mute for those who are talking? Again, going back to the SOQ contents, I left off at core competencies, special certifications, special registrations, past performances, and differentiators. I have another great example developed by Mr. Mike Peacock and Southwest Business Development Consultants, which outlines every piece of information required for the statement. So thank you, Mike, for giving me this beautiful capability statement. So first things first, contact information. How can I find you? How can the government buyer find you? You know, at this point in time, you already went to a conference, you met one-on-one with a procurement buyer and procurement specialist. Next thing you did was hand over your SOQ. How can they find you? You know, you were successful in making that first opening statement, that first elevator speech. Now they want to work with you. So how can they find you? So information that you should include are your name, of course, your point of contact, your company address, fax phone numbers, emails, as well as web addresses. You know, and we also need to make sure that across the board, all of our information is updated, which includes our SAM registration, your SBA profile, database information, your website, as well as your brochures. We need to make sure to constantly update this information. Company and corporate data. This includes information and 2 short sentences or paragraphs with a company description detailing your service and work history. You can include the size of your firm, if you have any bonding capacity, the number of employees you have, and the geographic area you serve. It is also important to list your NAICS codes, or North American Industrial Classification codes, your SIC codes, as well as your product service codes. Another important piece of information that government buyers are looking for are your DUNS numbers. This is your 9-digit number that you use to register in the System for Award Management database. Procurement specialists have the ability to look you up in the SBA PRONA search engine, as well as dynamic small business search engine. These databases are government agencies. These are the databases that government agency procurement buyers use to locate you, using keyword searches, using your NAICS code, as well as using your DUNS number. So it is very important to keep this information updated and to include the DUNS number. For those that might not have a DUNS number, we are available to help you with those services. We are also available to help you with the System for Award Management, the database. That website can be very difficult to maneuver through, but we are here at the 4 Winds Diversified Project to help you with those initial certifications and registrations. Core competencies. What are they? These are your short introductory statements showcasing your company's core strengths. They also showcase any specialized products or services your company provides, as well as your organization's solutions to a potential agency or client needs. You know, all of us here are in the business of providing solutions each time we market to a new client, preparing for a bid, or preparing to meet with a government buyer. So it is very important to keep in mind the types of information and key bulleted items we would like to showcase. I do have great examples from Southwest Business Development Consultants, ALMS, as well as Moving Solutions, CF Padilla, and the Sparrow Group with their core competencies. These core competencies are not everything that your firm is able to provide, but the core expertise of your firm. Next, we have special certifications, registrations, and qualifications. I also like to think of this as another differentiator and core competency that each of your organizations possess. If your company has received any specialty trainings such as HAZMAT or OSHA 500 training, be sure to list it. If your company is a contractor, we need to make sure that we list your GB98s, your EE98s, your GS29s, your MM98 certifications. We also want to list all of our business licenses at the city, county, and tribal levels. Also, last, we want to also list if we have any special certifications such as 8A, HubZone, women-owned. Again, all these things that set you apart from your competitors. And again, these are key requirements and things that government providers are looking for when they're searching for potential contractors. Next, we have past performance. This past performance list should be the list where your company has smashed out of the ballpark. Your most successful, your on time, on budget, and on schedule contracts that your company has completed. and also contracts where you can get a great reference from. You know, you can call them up, say, hey, I need a reference letter, or hey, this agency is going to be calling you. Can you please help us with a reference? So, you know, these are areas and contracts that you have just totally smashed. You can list your past performances in several ways, but remember to include the location of the contract, the name of the project and project operator, the type of services performed, as well as the date the contract was completed. Next and last, most important, are our differentiators. There are 4 different questions, sample questions, that each of us should be able to answer and place on our qualification statements. How is your company best suited for the needs of this agency? What is it about your services that make you stand out from the rest? What is it about your team that gives you the advantage over your competitors? And why are your products or services better solutions than the other competitors that are available? Some examples for the 4 Winds Diversified Project will answer question number 3. Our 4 Winds Diversified Project team has a combined 60 years of experience of providing management, training, and technical expertise to minorities and Native American small businesses throughout the Southwest. My personal example would be Data Management of New Mexico has a 98.9% approval rating for SBA 8A certifications. I also have a few other examples of differentiators to the right of the screen. So again, make sure that you're able to answer these sample questions in a clear and concise manner. Now, I would like to turn over our webinar to Ms. Kim Baca of KB Consultant LLC. I've had the very fortunate and very much honored to work with her over the past 10 years when I was at the American Indian Chamber of Commerce of New Mexico. She was instrumental in helping our organization, in promoting through our social media networks such as Facebook and Twitter. She was also instrumental in helping our team get on Kiwanis Broadcast Radio, where we were able to reach over 1,000 different listeners, as well as get us on our 2 local news channels, Channel 13 and Channel 2, where I was able to sit on a small panel to discuss and promote our economic summits and youth empowerment symposiums. So with that, I turn over our webinar to Ms. Kim Baca. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Russell, and thank you everyone for joining us this morning. There we go. As Russell said, my name is Kim Baca. I'm Navajo and Santa Clara Pueblo. I'm owner of KB Consulting, a small communications and marketing firm here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where 4 Winds is based. And a little bit about me, I'm a former marketing and communications director for a small college in Santa Fe, and I've also worked as a marketing and communications director for nonprofits. Primarily, my business clients are small nonprofits, tribal clients, tribal organizations, and tribal businesses, although I do have non-tribal clients. I'm also a subcontractor for Prime in Virginia, whose main client is the Department of Justice. So when I was talking to Russell about who was attending the webinar today and some of their backgrounds, he was mentioning to me that some of the participants are just starting in business and some may have a few years of business background. And so I thought maybe the place to start would be with the American Marketing Association, what the definition of marketing is. As you can see, in 2008, AMA changed the definition to include that it's an educational process. Previously, the definition read as Marketing is an organizational function, a set of processes for creating, communicating, and delivering value to customers and managing customer relationships in ways that benefit the organization and stakeholders. So as you can see, education is part of this process now. I used to think that marketing was all about sales, which of course it is, but it's also educating your customer, which in this case is the federal government. So now that you have an idea, or if you've already created some great SOQs, just wanted to give you a few quick tips now that you've made contact or will make contact with contracting officers. Those contracting officers will do research, and the first place they'll go, of course, is online. So I just wanted to give you a few quick tips of how to help you beef up your online presence. I'm thinking of beef because I must be hungry. It's lunchtime. So what is the basis for marketing? You know, Russell had talked a little bit about having that elevator speech, and then also your mission statement, you know, why your business, who you are and what you do, which is also part of your brand story. Those stories, your mission statement, capabilities, statements, all of that, your NACE codes obviously can go on a website, and it's really important to have a good website. For those of you that are starting in business and don't have the hundreds or thousands of dollars to hire someone, there are some good resources out there like Wix.com or Squarespace that have really good simple templates. You can hire a college student to help you, or somebody small like me. I can work one-on-one with you to at least get you the digital presence that you need so that when contracting officers are doing research, they can find you. So as part of your online presence, they will also look at your social media channels if you have them. Obviously, LinkedIn is the professional website, the professional profile that you can create. There are also people that create the company pages. If you create a company page, it's also good for finding potential employees. Facebook is another place where contracting officers will look at if you have your own personal pages, but also your company pages. Your company channels on Facebook are places that you can also share content, product launches, changes in service, you know, personal stories of who you are and why you're in business. You know, obviously that also can extend to your website. And then Twitter is another place that you can share content, engage with your customers. And another place where contracting officers will look at. If you're just starting in business and starting with social media, I would pick one or two, probably one just to start with. You know, people are looking for content, looking for information about you, and so Facebook is one of those user-friendly places that you can go to, you know, much different from your personal profiles. If you're developing a company page, definitely put more information, obviously, about your company, what you do, how you do it. This is a good place for client testimonials as well. You know, if you have folks that you work with outside of government contracting, and also, you know, any comments that you get from folks that you've helped out in the past. And another place or another venue that you can also build up your digital presence is through public relations, news releases, earned media, getting a story placed in the local newspaper or your trade publication. News conferences is another venue, you know, again, a product launch or a product launch or a change in service. Advertorials are also a new venue as well. Those have become quite popular. Advertorials are a news story, as written or published, and those get published either on websites or within newspapers. Writing a guest column, a blog, videos, podcasts, all of this can be shared on your website or within your social channels. And then, of course, sponsorships, having your logo as part of an event or a webinar such as this. All good ways to get information out about your company and your service or product. Okay, so with that, I'll turn that back over to Russell. And here's my contact information. Please let me know if I can help you in the future.
All right, Ms. Kim Baca, thank you for your time and expertise and knowledge that you shared with us and our participants here today. Next, I would like to turn over the floor to Mr. John Schroeder, who represents Real-Time Solutions. They were instrumental in providing the American Indian Chamber of Commerce with our website, as well as the Native American Economic Summit, where we're able to also collect fees and provide other solutions. I know that they also have a lot of contracts with the Navajo Nation, as well as the state of New Mexico. So I would like to turn over the webinar to Mr. John Schroeder, and thank you in advance for everything that you're providing for us today.
Absolutely, Russ. Thank you. And can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Thanks everyone for your time today. I appreciate everybody tuning in this morning, and I hope that the next 10 minutes is a little bit valuable. My name is John Schroeder, and I've been working with Russ for a number of years, and the company I work for, Real-Time Solutions, we've been around for 20 years, and we're a software company. We specialize in web-based applications. So what does that mean? That means that we work with government agencies on any kind of service they want to make available through their website, whether that's a licensing system or a transportation traffic monitoring system, or if simply agencies need an agency-wide website, or a county needs a website. That's the kind of work that we do. And if you've been tracking any kind of the COVID stuff here in New Mexico, then you've probably seen some of our work, as we helped out the state a lot with that project and with that response. And so why am I here? And I was talking with Russ, and Russ has known us over the years, and he's seen that pretty much we have worked with two main clients pretty much since we've been around since 2000, and that's the state of New Mexico and the Navajo Nation. We've been doing government contracting from day one, and we've had a lot of experiences I've shared with Russ, and he asked me to share some of those today so that you might find some of them valuable. A lot of this stuff that we learned the hard way, and we just kind of learned as we went. So hopefully some of the things that I share with you today will kind of make sense if you're new to government contracting, and at least maybe give you a perspective of what worked for our company. And I will say our company, you can see the overview here. The reason I bring this up is because in 2000, that was when the .com bubble had burst, and we were pretty much behind the scenes. Nobody was buying anything online. So we had to really overcome that stigma. And although I am speaking from an IT perspective, a lot of this can be applied across a lot of industries. And so I kind of grouped these 6 different topics, which I'll be talking about loosely throughout the discussion here. And so what I really want to kind of get across to everyone is a light bulb really went off for me and the company here, really, when we realized that the game was a lot bigger than just a solicitation that you're responding to, or it could be. And really getting behind the scenes and working with agencies, even to build that solicitation or to plan for that solicitation, is really where I would say you should strive to be. And that would be probably the hardest thing that we had to overcome. But once you do, and you're able to get in and do a successful project, That's called past performance, and you start building on that. Once you do a good job, you use your context from that project, and you slowly grow out. And it's a cycle that can build, and it can spread quickly if you do good work and do good customer service and support. And so really understanding what's going on behind the scenes, understand why a department even buys in the first place. What are the administration's goals? Who was the previous administration? How did their goals differ than the one that's there now? What is who are the department leaders of an agency that you want to work with? What are their personality types? And all of this, it can kind of clue you in to how on how you can get these meetings with folks. And then once you're in there behind the scenes talking with them, that is when you can find a gold mine of information that the solicitations won't spell out. You can just get a lot of information once you get behind the scenes and talking to some of these decision makers. And you know, it's at that time when you really know how polished your elevator script is. When you're sitting down in a meeting with someone you're comfortable with, and they pull in a cabinet secretary and say, "Hey, I want you to meet this guy," and you have to speak right then on why you're better than the company they've been using for 20 years. And so make sure that your elevator speech is polished, and you can be very flexible with it depending on the situation, because it can get very unpredictable at times. And but understanding how the agencies can buy, be very easy to do business with. There's a lot of different contracting vehicles, everything from state-by-state price agreements to, GSA, 8A contracts, things of that nature. Make yourself very easy to buy from. I tell you what, whenever I meet with a new agency, one of the first questions out of their mouth is, how can I buy from you? Before they want to go any further, they always want to know, how can I buy from you? So make it very easy for them to do business with. And then have partners in place. So if there's an arrangement where teaming arrangement, if there's a project that you would do great in, if you could do a little bit more, be ready to get those teaming arrangements on the spot. I'll give you an example. Last year, we were there was an agency that wanted us to do a $100,000 website for them. And so the problem was the normal state price contract that we're on was expired. So they offered one of their prime vendors, we could sub underneath them, pretty kind of a standard agreement, except this company wanted to take 30% just pretty much for nothing. And so we put our network together. We have good people like Russ and Mike and everybody. We were able to reach out and find another local company with the same contracting vehicle as that other prime, and the margin went down to 10%, which is much more manageable. So be very flexible and always be looking for opportunities, because they're going to come in a lot of different ways. And another example I like to give is there was a procurement that was due. We were there at 5 o'clock when the solicitation ended, and sure enough, this group walked in with about 5 or 6 dollies full of boxes, and they were turned away right there at 5:01 because they were late. You always got to follow the rules. There's a lot of spoken and unspoken rules. These are things you get used to over time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions after this, but they were turned away. And instead of sitting there and thinking, okay, I have one less competitor, I went over and I looked at the name on the box, went back to my office, and I called that company and said, hey, we are hoping to get on this contract for these categories. If you have any projects coming up, we'd love to talk about maybe working together. So you can always look for opportunities in a lot of different kinds of situations, and be very open to that. And never get too comfortable. Right when you think you understand the game, the rug can get pulled out from you a dozen different ways. Contracts that you thought were in place can get canceled overnight. You know, sometimes these things might not follow the rules on the government side, and you got to decide what to do. Another example is I was giving a presentation to the wrong person in the food chain, so to speak. And they went and took my presentation, went all the way up to the top to the cabinet secretary and presented it as their own. So first of all, that was my fault for not realizing I was talking to the wrong person. But second of all, I had to decide what we were going to do. I cannot stress enough to always put your pride aside and think long term. If you decide to cause a scene and start filing any kind of grievances, you are not easy to do business with, and these buyers talk to each other, and it will not be good long term. So always be thinking long term. With the decisions that you make at hand. When a solicitation is in your hand, I was saying earlier that they can cancel overnight. That is so true. When we get any kind of paperwork on our side, we overnight it. We'll even send somebody up to the Capitol to drop off paperwork. We keep that paperwork in our hands as small amount of time as possible, because nothing is set in stone until that contract is signed and that purchase order is approved. So being able to just be very, very, very quick about things like that. And when I say make yourself unforgettable, you want an agency to really look at you as an extension of their services wherever your expertise is. And here's an example. When this COVID hit, the Department of Health and the governor's office called us and had us working around the clock for about a month straight, building the COVID website, building a portal where people could check once they were tested, places where testing locations could post their hours and locations. And because they viewed us as an extension of their resources, of their IT resources, as it relates to anything on the web. When an agency wants to do a project as it relates to the web, they call us because we're easy to do business with. We have solid past performance, and they know that we have everything in place in terms of all of our paperwork and how to buy from us and whatnot. So that is memorable to an agency or a government buyer, somebody that is easy to work with, not only on a personality standpoint, but also from a buying standpoint on how set up your company is. So, there's a lot of examples I could give, but I'll go ahead and seed here. And if anybody would like to further discuss anything at all, I'd be happy to continue talking with them or answer any questions later on. Russ?
Excellent, Mr. John Schroeder. I appreciate you and your expertise and sharing your knowledge and experiences with all of our webinar participants here. And I thank you. And again, thank you, Kim, for also sharing your experiences and knowledge and getting us prepared on the marketing end. For a quick review, a quick statement or capability statement review, I just wanted to go over the main key bulleted points that we discussed. Of course, these capability statements are required for many government registration processes, such as the 8A and Hub Zone programs. These capability statements serve as your door opener to new agencies. They also set you apart from your competitors by promoting your company's core competencies, past performance and work history, your special certifications and licenses. It is very crucial and important to remember that our capability statement is a living, breathing document, just like our business plan. And it'll change depending on the targeted agency's grant or potential contract. So we are constantly updating not only the SOQ or capability statement, but constantly updating our website, our SAM registration profile, and our SBA ProNet profile. They also serve as your organization's first impressions to government buyers. And to keep in mind that your capability statement should be brief and to the point, no longer than 2 pages. And when sending your SOQ, send it in a PDF format. I do have some resources available for your NAICS code keyword search, your standard industrial classification code search, as well as your product service code search that I can email to each of you for those seeking those types of codes and information. Next, I would like to turn it over to questions. Right now, I do not see any questions on the Q&A box, but if there's anybody that would like to voice a question, you are more than happy to do so. I'll give you a little bit of time, but as part of being a client of our 4 Wins Diversified project team, you will have special access to this presentation, the recording of this presentation, as well as an emailed PDF file of our presentation. And for those also interested in becoming a client, I also have an action item list of the information that can get you ready and prepared to begin and start your qualification statement. Again, we are all here, Ms. Darla Jones, Mr. Mike Peacock, myself, Russ Pedro, Mr. John Schroeder, and Kim Baca. We are here to answer any questions and follow-up questions. Our emails are listed below. You will be receiving an end of the webinar survey, a real quick survey. Oh, looks like we have one question coming through. Is it, okay, we got Stephanie Gilbert. Her question is it a good idea to email your SOQ to contracting officers, or should you call first? Mr. Peacock or Ms. Jones, would you like to take this question? The question
Thank you, Russ. Thanks, Russ. This is Michael Peacock. That's a great question. Typically, I mail my SOQ to all federal agencies, and if you have that information, that's really a blessing to your marketing efforts. Sometimes contracting officers can be very, very private. They're a very, very unique group of people that are trained not to interact with any potential customer. Here at the 4 Wins Diversified Project Center, we do have lists of government agencies, locally, regionally, and on a national level. We do have contacts for key contracting officers. And yes, it is standard practice to email your capability statement. You may not get a response, but they will get it and they will have it on file for future reference. So yes, very, very acceptable to email your information to any potential targeted government agency. I hope I answered your question today.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Peacock. As far as my experience, I always like to get in front or meet with the contracting officers first before I email, whether it be one-on-one or making a phone call. As Mr. Peacock had mentioned, we've developed a great relationship with the Procurement and Technical Assistance Center, who does have a great listing of over 30 plus small business procurement agents and procurement specialists. So for me personally, I do like to contact the contracting officer either by a phone call or meeting one-on-one, then email the SOQ. But like Mr. Peacock mentioned, it does depend on the situation and scenario. Do we have any more questions? And I hope we answered your question, Stephanie.
This is Don Johnson. Can you hear me?
Can you speak up, Don?
I apologize. I have a frog in my throat today. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. In this environment that we're living in today, it's of course difficult to get in front of a contracting officer or purchasing agent or whomever. What do you suggest in regards to submitting information to actually maybe land one of those simplified acquisitions? Because I hear every webinar here establishing relationships, but again, in this day and time, it's really hard to do that. So what do you propose would be a good step to take in regards to establishing relationship in order to hopefully land one of those simplified acquisitions?
Good question, Don Johnson. I would love to talk to you more one-on-one. You know, we would love to sign you up as a client so that we can discuss the strategies. But as mentioned before, we do have access to a list of over 30 procurement and buyer and procurement specialists. And we will definitely love to make a reference on your behalf to these specific buyers. Mr. Peacock, do you have anything else to suggest?
Yes, that's a very, very good question there. Don, we have access to over 40 funded minority business development agency programs throughout the country, which are located in major cities. There are also 11 American Indian programs throughout the country that we have this access to this huge network. So we're able, as you become engaged as a client, we are able to interact with all these 40 funded centers and 11 Native American centers throughout the country to interact with them and to provide your capability statements. Not only that, if you're looking for any specific type of teaming partner, or maybe you're considering a joint venture, you know, we certainly can contact all these particular centers and we can target and identify a potential teaming partner for you. So that's one of the value added benefits that we have access to, is the Minority Business Development Agency network across the country, to include our main office in Washington, D.C. They're at our beck and call to really help us identify any types of resources, partners, information, agencies. So that's the value that we bring to you as a consulting company. And the good thing about it, doesn't cost you anything. We have many, many years of service here and experience, and we call on all our resource partners out there across the country, across the region. And we're here to help you in any way we can to build capacity and build your business to scale. So I hope I answered your question today.
Thank you, Mr. Peacock. And
Thank you.
And thank you, Ms. Don Johnson, for your question. As mentioned, we will definitely be following up with all of you with an email, as well as get into more detail as far as the different types of services we provide. And again, as mentioned, if you guys sign up as a client, we'll be happy to forward over the action item list for you to start to develop your qualification statement. Again, you will be receiving an email more than likely tomorrow, thanking you once again for your participation. Within that email, you will have access to all of our contact information for Mr. Peacock, Ms. Jones, myself, Russ Pedro, as well as Mr. John Schroeder and Kim Baca. I have included all of our company information, phone numbers, fax numbers, email addresses, and web addresses. So by tomorrow morning, you shall all be receiving an email, a follow-up email. Any more questions? Any more questions? Well, with that, again, we would love to thank you for your participation. We look forward to future webinars, so keep an eye out. We will be sending additional information for our Q4 webinar presentation. And like I said, in the near future, once everything with the COVID settles, we are planning to have another one-on-one Meet Your Buyer Procurement Fair, where we're going to invite, again, over 30 different federal agencies, local, tribal, and even commercial entities. So again, thank you all, and look forward to working with you in the near future. And have a beautiful and excellent day.
Thank you, Russell.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Have a great day.
Thank you, everybody. John Kubiak signing off.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Kim.
Good job, Russ.
Right on, D.
Send
Out.
me the recording when you have a chance.
Yeah, I'm recording it right now as we speak.
Yeah, send it to Mike and I.
Excellent. So what I'll do is it needs to convert to a file, and then I'll drop it in Dropbox.
Okay.
Russell, that was awesome.
Right on. That was awesome.
That was awesome. Well prepared, and
that was pretty cool, man.
you
I
did a wonderful job.
It worked out, man.
Darla, wonderful job for organizing our platform. And
thank you, Darla, for your marketing.
Technical work behind it.
Had a lot of good.
Part of the team.
Excellent, excellent, guys. And like I said, looking forward to our next webinar for the next quarter. But as I mentioned on the webinar, there is a capability with Zoom to do a follow-up email. So I included all of our information. And right now, they should be able to be doing the actual webinar.
Evaluation.
Yeah, evaluation form. So right now, they should be working on that as we speak.
How many participants did you have on today?
So when I had it listed, we had 19.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Online today?
Online today. 19. So I think we're missing maybe just a couple, three of them. But overall, we had them all.
All right, good deal. So get ready next month we do the interview with you one-on-one.
Right on.
Awesome job, Russell.
Right on, guys. Right on, guys. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day.
All right, bye.
Okay, bye.